Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Crimson Assassin. Now continue the heist, please. Hello, people of YouTube. 'Tis I once more, the Crimson Assassin, and I am bringing you part 2 of my thoughts about the Grand Theft Auto Online heists. If you have not seen my last video, I recommend you go check out that video because it says that now I got a new PS4 and can't wait to get her set up. And trust me, I'll actually do a video fully unboxing the PS4, even though there's probably tens and thousands of people already unboxed their PS4s. I'm gonna unbox mine too, and we're gonna hook her up, and I'll make a whole video about me and my PS4. But anyway, now is the time to talk about PS4. Now is the time to continue on where we left off on the heists. So last time we talked about what you need for the heist and what happened on day 1, which they're all explained in part 1, or what my personal opinions about what happened on day 1 was. Yeah, but anyway, now we're here to discuss what's the setup, the heist itself, and my final verdict for the heist. Oh, without any further delay, let us continue on. So here's what so the setup for the heists is fairly simple, and I can basically try to summarize the heists in this basically is one thing. They're fetch quests. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with RPGs and their language, a fetch quest is basically when you go out of your way, you get something, you bring it back to that person, and that's the heist, and that's the setup. That's the fetch quest. Okay, it's like, oh, I need you to get this car and bring it back to me in mid-condition. That's a fetch quest. You're basically fetching the item and you're bringing it back to the person. In this case, you're fetching either a car, an airplane, a fighter jet, a car with a what do you call it? A car with a Gatling gun, or that has a Gatling gun on the top. Motorcycles. Basically, you collect various things, and the setup for the heist will take you roughly about an hour and a half to do that. I think the actual setup for the heist is the main meat of what the heist is really all about. Is that all you do is you get that thing, you take it, and you bring it back to whoever is in charge of the heist, and that's the heist. Whether it's taking drugs, whether it's taking a vehicle, 8 out of 10 chances you're either getting a vehicle or a plane. It all really depends on how well you do in the heist, determines on how much cut of the pay that you do. And let's talk about the thing that's actually really neat about the setup is that even though they're just setup missions, you get a small amount of money after doing it. You really get it roughly around like $17,000 to $20,000. I think the highest we ever got was like $23,000 if you put on the hard difficulty, which is not that bad. But once you do the actual heist, which we're going to get into in a moment, oh boy, okay. So, to be honest, I think the setup is just basically a series of fetch quests in order to really do the actual heist. And what kind of annoyed me was that it's mainly the main meat of what the heist really is. Is that it's the main meat of what the heists are is these side setup missions that'll take you roughly an hour and a half to try to finish. And once you get to the actual heist, it'll add additional 30 minutes or more, depending on how well you do and how well you're cooperating with your team. Because let's face it, like I said before, if you don't have a mic, you're screwed. You don't have any means of communication with your team, and you're fucked. So, again, if you want to hear that, just watch part 1. But still, the setup for the heist is basically like the main chunk of what it is. The heist itself now, it's actually really, really fun to do. Especially if you're playing it with friends like I did, okay? Like, you need, okay, so here's how the whole setup works. And it's even how the heists work in general, okay? is that the crew leader, whoever is your leader, the person who's controlling the lobby of the crew, can set who's going to do who and during what heist. Basically, the setup is basically you trying to get the certain items because they're all essential to do the actual heist. So after you collect everything that you need for the heist, then you can do the actual heist. And let me tell you, the heists are ranging from at least like normal to really freaking hard. Especially the last heist that you do, which is really fucking hard to do, especially if you don't know how to drive a motorcycle. You're gonna have a bad time. Let's just put it at that. So I suggest that people need to take it nice and simple, okay? Don't rush in guns blazing. Hell, you can do that, but the thing is, if you die even during the setup or the actual heist, you're screwed. Because guess what? There are little to no lives in the heist. You only get one life if you put it on normal, and if you do it on hard mode, you can't die, period. And if you do die, you have to restart from a certain checkpoint, and even that can take you a longer time to finish at. So, again, all goes back to team cooperation. It's a co-op thing for a reason. So I think that's why they really needed to implement that. Which, in my opinion, is really well done. That's what these heists meant or were meant to do. It's supposed to be a 4-player cooperative mission with your friends, doing various things and having a lot of fun doing those things. And are the heists fun? Yes. Do they live up to the hype? No. I make that perfectly clear. Does it live up to the hype? In my opinion, yes and no. And here's why, okay? Sure, the payout of the heists are worth it. They're definitely worth it. The problem is that, like I mentioned before, it's a bunch of series of fetch quests that you do, and then once you do the actual heist, it's only one freaking mission, and you had all this content to do setup missions, and you do the actual heist. The actual heist can roughly take around 30 minutes to finish with the actual fucking setup for the heist. You know, it takes you like roughly an hour and a half to fucking finish. So, do they live up for the hype? Yes and no. Yes, as in the payout of the heist are worth it. Depending on if you're the crew leader or one of its side minions, depending on how much of the money that you get for the heist, and even that, you know, you do get a lot of money out of doing the heists. Like, you can get money straight around range of $100,000 to $500,000, depending if you do well in certain things. If you do all the secret things, like let's say if you don't die during the heists, or if you're playing with your crew and your friends, you get bonuses, and you get more bonuses from the heist. In that regard, money-wise, in-game currency-wise, it's perfect. I suggest that for in-game currency, the heists are the way to go. As for content, all you do is do a fetch quests, and then you get the thing, and you know, you do the heist, and that's basically it. Now, the heists itself are actually really interesting. There's just one heist where you rob a person out of prison, and you take that person to an extraction point, and he'll give you the money because you saved his life, and he'll give you roughly around $100,000 to $200,000. There's one heist where you go into this laboratory where you set off an EMP bomb after doing one of the setup for the heists, and the EMP will turn on, and while you're in a helicopter, and you start shooting at people, while 2 people who are going inside the lab and trying to get whatever they need to do and get the hell out, so I can bring the chopper back up and take it into the action point, and then that's basically the entire heist. There's just one heist where it's with Trevor, and to be honest, the one with Trevor is the most stupidest heist ever. You bet little to almost no pay. It's like $75,000, which is not really a lot, especially if all the money that you've been getting through the heist is over, like between $100,000 to $200,000. But the fourth one with Trevor was actually the weakest one, and that was actually the fucking most stupidest heists I ever did in the game. The last heist is hard as shit. You need to put your A game on. Those 4 heists were just a test. The actual heist itself, like the big one that you do, the bank robbery, holy shit, that'll take you a long time to finish. Because trust me, you're going to have a bad time really trying to do that damn last fucking heist mission. And trust me, it's hard. That shit is hard to do. So all in all, yes, the heists are worth it in some way. The money in the heists are definitely worth it. If you want to get a lot of money, go jump into the heist. Especially if you want a team cooperative thing to do with your friends, I suggest you go play with the heist. If you don't like tedious, repetitive fetch quests, then you're not gonna get a kick out of the heist. Personally, I didn't really mind it because hell, I'm used to playing RPGs. I played RPGs before. I played Final Fantasy. I played Tales of Exilius. I played Tales of Symphonia. I played Ni no Kuni. And the side quests and Ni no Kuni especially are all fetch quests. So in that regard, I was already used to it. So when it came for me and the repetitive fetch quest sort of thing, I didn't really mind. Okay, it's just that it did get really, really annoying. Okay. And so if you don't really like that, don't do the heist. If you're in it for the money and the cooperative experience with your friends and your crew, I suggest you go check out the heists. If you don't like tedious, annoying, repetitive fetch quests, you are not going to get a kick out of the heist. Okay? It's bad plus, okay? All in all, after that traumatic experience and day one, the fact that it's all just, the setup is basically repetitive and boring. Or, not really boring because it depends if you play with your friends like I did and I had a lot of fun playing it with my friends. You are going to have a good time either if you play it with friends or you're just doing it for the money. So, in that regard, I'm going to give the heist its very own verdict. For the Grand Theft Auto Online heist, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. It is I mean, it's okay, it's good, especially for the payout, but when it comes to, depends on your current situation, you're not going to get a kick out of the heist. It basically depends on your experience. And my experience with the heists is that I had a lot of fun playing it with friends. The money was worth it. And that I got a lot of money at the end. I got new cars. I got a new house because I did the heist. And they were a lot of fun to do, especially with friends. If you don't play with friends and you don't have a mic and you don't have team cooperation, you are not going to have a good time. So it depends on your opinion. So let me say this. What is your opinion about the Grand Theft Auto Online heist? Did you like it? Did you find it repetitive and boring? Did you really enjoy it because you played it with friends and your crew? Let me know and I'll have a full conversation with you down below. And I am 16 years old and I thank you all for watching this video. I hope to do more content for you in the future, and I will definitely do a hookup / unboxing for my PS4 one day. I can't wait to plug that bastard in. So all in all, thank you guys so much. I've been here around for a full 16 years. Can't wait to, live long, live life and prosper, So until then, this is the Crimson Assassin, and I am signing out. Peace, YouTube.